Okay, today's video we're going to talk about how to do B2B niche marketing. Basically, if you're trying to sell something to specific types of business owners or people that work at companies, whether you have a marketing product or service you're trying to sell, whether it's a cleaning product that you're trying to sell, whether it's consulting, whether you're trying to sell basically any kind of software, doesn't matter. This process right here will tell you how to sell basically any and all of it the best possible way that I personally know how. And I've done a lot of B2B marketing, and I've seen what a lot of other companies have done, given I get to put my, get insight into other companies that I work with and their marketing and the B2B marketing that they do, because I just naturally ask questions on what else they're doing, even though I just manage ads for clients. And I've worked with about 500 different clients in a whole bunch of different industries, a bunch of them being B2B, understand what works, what doesn't work. And this right here, my friends, is the best way that I found to do B2B marketing. When it comes to B2B marketing, by the way, there's a little saying that I have, which is stuff that either people won't do or can't do is the stuff that works. Because people ignore advertising that they see all the time, or that just looks like an ad, because your brain's trained to ignore ads, because you see so many damn ads on a day-to-day basis, and you're trying to save energy and brain power in your everyday life, that once your brain's trained to recognize an ad and then immediately tune out what that ad has. So stuff that works is going to be stuff that they haven't seen before. So if you're ever wondering like, well, I'm not going to do that because nobody else in my industry is not doing that, and so therefore it won't work. That's the absolute opposite of the mindset that you must have to get abnormally good returns doing B2B niche marketing for your company. If you do what everybody else does, you're going to get the same shitty average to below average results, because just because your competitors are doing it doesn't even mean it works, by the way. There's a lot of the marketing you see, I would say most of the marketing you see out there that's running and advertising and stuff that's going on to get customers for people doesn't even make any money. They're actually surviving off of repeat customers that they have, if you're in a market with repeat customers, of course, but they're relying on repeat customers, referrals. And so when they do their other advertising, most people don't track it, or track it very well anyway. They don't even know it doesn't work. So you see what they're doing, and you see that they're big, and you try to say to yourself, well, they're doing it, it must work. It's not necessarily the case. Unless you're really trained at marketing yourself and have a lot of experience to understand looking at something, if it fundamentally should work, does it make logical sense what they're doing works, you're probably not going to be good enough to know if it works or not until you try it. Then you're going to waste a bunch of time and money trying it. Whereas you could figure out what it is that nobody else is doing, get a little creative, which I'm giving you the strategy here so you don't even have to do that, and go that route with it. Because your ads and your approach look so novel, they're going to be not ignored but also seen as more valuable, given that it's not something they've seen all the time, and if it looks expensive, they're going to put even more value on it. Anything that they think costs you more money to do, the message gets upgraded in terms of its perceived value and then how much it should be paid attention to as well. You'll end up being in a position to make money. And so whereas everybody else in your space is going to try to do mostly the cheapest, easiest things, you're going to do the hard stuff that costs the most. And even though it costs more money to do, the return is still going to be better because people are actually going to give a damn about what they see when they see it. So with that said, I'll get into the strategy. I'm also going to get into some different case studies here of where I use this strategy in different various markets, so you have to understand exactly how to do this for yourself by the end of the video. So that said, and to get into the content, if you are trying to sell to a certain niche, whether that's plumbers, SaaS companies like I was talking about before, people that flip houses, doesn't matter. If you're doing B2B sales, this will work. There really is one tried and true method that I always know will work, and that is by running ads. And I'm not just saying this because I'm an ad man. Running ads at the people that you want to sell to your B2B offer, your B2B pitch. Why ads? Because everybody, for the most part, you can get in front of them with an ad. Everybody goes online nowadays. 99% of people go online at some point, maybe not every day even, but they go online. So if you were able to run ads at the people that you need to buy, you could get in front of everybody you want to sell to with whatever message that you want to get in front of them. And of course the question is, can you say something that's relevant enough to them and that they give a shit, frankly, enough about for you to actually monetize the cost of what it costs to get in front of them? And that's a whole separate thing, which I'm going to also go over. But there's no reason why you can't get in front of it, your entire market. So usually in B2B niche marketing, there's a list of 5,000 buyers at the type of companies that normally can use your product or service. You got to sell to those 5,000 people. Well, you could get in front of all 5,000 by running ads using the method I'm talking about here. And not only that, but you could get it in front of them again and again and again and again. So you could show an ad to somebody, if they might not even see it at first or take it seriously, so you could show it to them again and again and again. And eventually they'll see it and acknowledge it. And then they know about you, and maybe it doesn't get them right then. You could show them something else and something else and something else. And eventually you'll get them if you're good in your approach and you pay attention to what they want to see. Far too many people want to do advertising like dog shit, and they just think, you should buy my product because I want you to. And here, do you want to buy it or not? And that's not very seductive. That doesn't work very well in B2B marketing. People ignore those messages. You got to think about what they would like to see. They want to be able to see something that will benefit them. So you go at them with exactly what they want to see. This is how seduction is done. Like if you're going to get a guy or girl that you want, you don't go up to them and say, hey, you want to go back to my place right away? That's weird. You go to them and you try to see what they like, and then you know, the best would be if you were a manipulative type. Oh, I like the same things. That's how you be charming, and that's how you get people to do what you want them to do. This B2B marketing stuff is the same thing. So you ultimately are, before you do anything, you have to figure out what it are the things that my customer that I want to sell to want to see. And then you use that opening to then pitch your stuff, but you don't pitch your stuff right away. But because you earn their trust, attention, and respect up front with what they did want to hear, now you have an opportunity to get them to seriously consider what you do want them to hear about, and to consider what you're selling. And they'll trust you and respect you, so they're actually willing to give it a shot at that point in time. But you aren't going to get that opportunity if you don't earn it from them up front. Most people are going to either try to do B2B niche marketing by emailing people because it's cheap, right? I mean, frankly, that's the reality. Oh, it doesn't cost me anything to email them, so I'll email them. Well, everybody gets 10,000 fucking emails a day. Your email's not going to stand out unless you're giving them something for free. They ain't gonna give a shit. And they're probably not even going to see your email anyway because they got to the other 10,000 emails and they can't physically read them all. Or people will try to use like blog content if they do understand that content and the approach of going to them with information that helps them first. They'll try to write a blog and then put it on their blog and hope Google ranks it. And then people will find it when they're Googling a question related to that thing and then find the article, which hypothetically would be not a bad idea. The problem is it's damn hard to rank stuff nowadays unless you're in a non-saturated niche. So practically speaking, not very many people are going to see it. And even if it does rank well, what's the percentage of people that are going to ask a question related to that in your niche? That 5,000 person list at the type of companies that can buy from you and the exact people at those companies that have the power to buy, what percent are going to see that blog post even if you rank it number one for that thing? 1% if you're lucky? How are you going to have any scalable results with that? You can't. You need to be able to have a guaranteed way to not just get in front of some of them, but all of them if you're going to seriously make some bank with your niche marketing. The real way to do B2B niche marketing is to build an email list of the people that can buy, then sharing your content with these people on the list, combining these two things. Marrying the email pitch where you're asking them to buy with the helpful content that you would rank on Google and combine the two. So you're going at them with the content directly and making sure they see the content so they'll read the content. And the best way to do that is through ads, like I said, because an ad will make sure you can get in front of everybody and as many times as you basically need to for them to actually see it, read it, and everything else. So with that said, the best content to share with somebody is how to save or make more money, because most people in business, that's what they want. There's some other occasions, what you're selling, like to make people, boost their ego, whatever. There's other stuff obviously that can appeal to them, why they might buy your product or service. You could focus on those things. But for most of you guys, 90% of you guys, if you're not communicating something that's going to help them save or make money, your content's not relevant enough. They're not going to care, and the cost that it costs to run an ad to get in front of those people isn't going to pay for itself, if you will. Everybody wants to know how to make or save money, which saving money is just making money at the end of the day. So what you do, though, is you don't say, hey, our product saves money, i.e. a case study, because it looks too promotional, and people aren't going to take you seriously. The best thing that I found that works great to go to somebody in a B2B niche marketing situation is to develop a story or piece of content that tells somebody how to make or save money. That to do that system takes a small piece of what you offer to successfully do it. So what they're thinking they're going to see at first, or what they ultimately see at first from you, is something that tells them how to make an extra $10,000 a month. They're interested, and that content's going to be geared towards them as an individual, which is a key relevant piece that makes it relevant enough to make your ads get the click-through rate you need to be profitable. Because the higher your click-through rate, the lower the cost per click on your ad you're going to have to pay. You got to get your cost per click low enough to make your ads have an ROI. So if you are a plumber and you see, here's how to make $10,000 more a month in your plumbing business. Now that's an article I want to read, that I'll fucking stop what I'm doing right now to read that article. And if your product's any good and it's supposed to save or make money, you should be able to come up with a piece like that. So you write that article that doesn't talk about your product until later on in the content. So if your thing that helps them be able to make an additional 10 grand a month more is switching merchant accounts, let's say, just as a off-the-wall example, you start talking about how switching merchant accounts to this new type of merchant account will save you enough money to make an additional $10,000 a month in your business. Respectively, later on in the content, assuming that you sell merchant accounts, these special type of merchant accounts that's going to help you save the $10,000 a month. Oh yeah, the best merchant account vendor that sells these type of merchant accounts that'll make you $10,000 more a month actually is the XYZ company, because they actually have the best rates on it. So if you are going to do this, you might as well go with this particular company, which is your company. And now you've basically tricked them into realizing what the value proposition of what you have is, so they didn't have a chance to block it out when they saw your ad, you see? So that's the specific funnel that I found works phenomenally well to do B2B niche selling. How can you write a piece of content that frames what your product or service does for the customer, and then bake what your product or service, bake your product or service itself as a part of that overall plan, so that as they're reading the content, they understand to do the plan, they have to buy from you, okay? That's the magic formula here that always works. And if you get the email list, which getting the email list, you can go to a company like Nextmark mailing list, but you can Google that, and there'll be if you want to find a list of just plumbing company owners, you can find a list that you can rent from that company, so you don't have to struggle to get those emails. Of those 10,000 plumbers across the country that you would need to market and want to market and sell to. Other times, if you're trying to sell to like SaaS company owners, but you're going to have to hire a data entry person to go out there, go to different SaaS company websites and try to find the owner's information and then guess the email address of the owner by trying all the permutations of like first name, last name at companyname.com, first name at companyname.com. You could type in email guesser on Google and find tools that'll go through every iteration of like the most common iterations of email addresses that people usually use if you have that person's first and last name and the company website. And then you go have that person you hire test all the emails saying, hey, I'd like to buy your software. How much is it? Once you find somebody that responds, now you got a working email that you found. And you got to do that for every person that you ultimately need to target. So if you're in a weird niche, you're going to have to manually build the list. If you're in a more common niche, there's somebody out there that probably has your list already that you can rent through a data broker like Nextmark mailing list. But you get the email list, you upload it to Facebook, to LinkedIn, to AdRoll. This will get your ad across the internet, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and then through AdRoll you can get on millions of different websites. Basically any website you see banner ads, you can get your ad in front of these exact people. So there's no waste circulation. There's no ads that show up for anybody that can't buy your product or service. And you know exactly who they are. So it makes it easy to make an ad that works for them, because if you know for sure with 100% certainty the person you're getting in front of is a marketing CEO or a plumbing company owner, you could say, attention plumbing company owners, this is how to make 10 grand more a month, and know your ad will be relevant enough to get them to click through at a super high rate, which is going to make you pay like 20 cents for somebody to click on that ad on average versus what everybody else is going to pay that's trying to market to a wider audience who don't know who they're talking to exactly and pay $2 a click. That advantage of paying 20 cents a click is what's going to make it work, or a big part of it anyway. Then obviously the rest of it, you have to pair that with content that's well written, that will hook the user in so when they start reading it, they're highly engaged as they're reading it. But to go take this the rest of the way, kind of the catch with this is you might be saying, well, if they read the content, like, isn't it just a waste of time? They could read the content, we never asked them to buy anything, they're going to say, oh, that was interesting, and then they're going to leave. Versus, why don't I just ask them if they want to buy our plumbing company SEO service? And the reality is, to make this actually pay off, as we found, is you write your article that explains how to make 10 grand more a month ranking your plumbing website every single, in an easy way that works every single time. Let's say that's what's on the ad, and then what's on the content that you're going to take them to after clicking on the ad. They're going to read that article, and in order to read the full amount of the article, you're going to have like a content gate, that they have to enter in their phone number and email address and name to get it reveal the rest of the content. So you need somebody who can write good copy to get them hooked in, so that when they see that gated content, they're like, oh, they got me. I have to put my information in here in order to see the rest of the content. And of course, you could make them verify their email and phone number if you wanted to get extra, like get technical about it to make sure that you have somebody contactable if you're going to reveal the rest of the content. If the article's good enough, you can do that. But that's how you do it. And then of course, when you get an email submit, you right away email them and say, hey, this is John from plumbing SEO company XYZ. I know you just got done reading the article. I'd love to be able to explain how we could do what you basically read for you and what the price would be. Can I have 15 minutes of your time to explain what the pricing would be on that? And get a meeting set up that way. And or you get the phone number, you call them right away. And I do mean right away. As soon as they get done reading that article, you call them immediately. And there's systems you could set up to where as soon as they fill that form out, it'll call your phone, say XYZ, just fill out the form, press 1 to dial that person. You hit 1, it'll automatically call that person. That'll make sure that when you call them, they remember who you are and the relevancy. Because if you wait a day to call them, a lot of times they're not even going to remember reading the article, because that's how space case people are. So, but that's the funnel in and itself as a whole. And you come up with a list of the exact people to sell to, you upload it to online to these ad networks, you lead them in with something that you know that they want, make or save money, or something highly relevant to them. You explain how to get it. They get 2/3 of the way through the article. They have to enter their information and read the rest of it. And then you call or email them to set up an appointment. You do a presentation to them or give them a presentation. You make sales. If you do this right, you can get leads for 20, 30, 40 bucks a piece. I mean, basically, if you got a good article, you have a good ad, but using this system. To give you some examples of where we did this before, as I mentioned I did this, I already kind of talked about plumbing. We had a company who just specializes in working with plumbing companies, marketing firm. They did an article about how to rank a plumbing company's website, which worked phenomenally well. We were getting leads for about 25 bucks each because the content's so relevant to the user, and gave real case studies of different websites that rank, plumbing websites that rank and how they ranked. So the best thing you can do is not just talk in abstracts on your content, but give real examples of other people just like them who got those results baked within the content, because otherwise they're not going to always believe it. But they were able to show the people that ranked and how they were able to rank because they did this, this system. And the system, of course, you can't get the system unless you hire them, or it's highly obvious that you need to hire them in order to do the system right without a chance that it might not work, basically. So they did that. We also did this for a candy wholesale company. Got a list of convenience store owners and did a similar thing there, explaining how you can save XYZ amount of money every month just in your candy ordering. Part of that system, by the way, was being able to get a dedicated account manager that can help you optimize your purchasing, and so that you would get your candy purchased in bulk, and it would help you optimize. We'll look at all your purchasing, how often you do it, your sales, all of it, and make sure you get the orders in the right cadence to get and to order a little bit more in bulk, and understand that you're still gonna use it. Basically, just optimize all your ordering so that you could save on your per unit cost of the candy that you're ordering, instead of just doing it all yourself, flying by the seat of your pants. And so that's what they did. And so they explained how another company was able to, save money by buying their candy more so in bulk, but doing it in a methodical way so that they understood that they could order more by doing a deeper analysis on the purchase trends within their store, on what actually sells and how fast it sells, using, math and Excel and stuff like that. So anyway, they did that, worked great. We're talking 40, 50 bucks a lead. Hospital cleaning supplies. So in this situation, it's just like it sounds. A company needed to sell supplies that hospitals need in terms of cleaning supplies that are specifically for hospitals need certain cleaning type products in order to do what they need to do. In this situation, they also explain how you could save money by buying a different type of cleaning supplies that was basically more efficient than the typical supplies that people have been buying. They normally would buy for years, or have been doing for a long time, but there was some new chemicals out that if you went with this, it's actually the chemicals are more powerful. Basically, you don't need as much, but they cost about the same in terms of the cost for one chemical versus the other in terms of per unit or per gallon or whatever. So they did a case study explaining how that whole concept, and were able to make a whole bunch of money. The lead cost on that was a little bit higher. We're talking about 80 bucks a lead. But in that kind of market, by the way, 80 bucks a lead, you're laughing all the way to the bank, because once you get a customer that buys from you once, they're going to buy from you for the next 10 years. So that 80 bucks is literally nothing. And that's how you should really be thinking about B2B marketing and sales, by the way. Too many people want to make a sale, and then on the initial purchase, that pays for the ads. You may be able to do that if you're offering something really good, but for the most part, most people are going to get that lucky. You're going to have to figure out what the average lifetime value of a customer is over their entire lifespan, what the profit margin is for the average customer time and length or number of purchases that the average person makes, And then from there, you can kind of figure out in terms of the cost per lead after testing your campaign out, how many months that the average customer is going to have to stay before you break even in terms of the ad cost that you had to spend to get that person into your company. And the average is going to be like the first 6 months of that customer's lifespan is just going to, and what you make off of them is going to cover the cost of the ads. But months 6 to year 4, because the average customer stays 4 years with you, that's all pure profit. So you won't lose money. It's just going to take longer to scale up. You'll run your ads. 6 months you start making money, so you put money back into the ad spend to scale this up more. And then 6 more months later, more customers are starting to mature, and then you can put more. 3, 4, 5 years down the road, instead of spending $100 a day, you're spending $1,000 a day, and you're making 5-10 million a year off of this system. Which, by the way, once you know it works on one platform, you can use it on all the others. So I would start off on LinkedIn, most of you guys, because that's kind of the best place. People are looking for content like this. If it works there, I'm going to run it on Facebook. If it works there, I'm going to run it on AdRoll to get across on all other websites, pretty much on the web, that banner ads that you see running on those websites, you'll be able to get your banner ads in those same banner ad spots, whether that's on crosswords.com, CNN.com, whatever. So why? Because it all works fundamentally the same way. You're getting in front of the same person with the same message. It should work other places. And LinkedIn specifically, I like it so much. And if you're going to do LinkedIn, I recommend document ads, because the document ads actually let you do what I said works the best already. They have a system built in to where you can have a presentation like a PDF. And once you get to like page 5, you have to enter your information to see the next rest of the pages of the PDF, which is exactly what you want. So, but if you're going to go Facebook and AdRoll, you don't have that functionality built in. So all you do is you just send them to a blog post on your site or whatever. And then there's plugins that you could put on your site that when they get so far into the blog content, they can't see the rest of it unless they put their information in. It's not that technically complicated. I actually had the exact same thing on my blog, on my website itself. We use this, even though we're not doing exactly the same thing, but we take the same concept. The blog post is written so well, we know when they get to at least halfway through it and they're still reading, they'll enter their information to get it on our email list if they've gotten that far. And then we are able to send our other blog posts to them once a week. And when we have new blog posts come out, to build that person's our value in that person's eyes more over time. So anyway, you could do it on other ad platforms. Now, as a final note, going full circle on this thing, just because the ads work doesn't mean you can't do email marketing and direct mail marketing, i.e. snail mail marketing for your business. It's the same thing. Once you have the content, instead of going to the person in an email and asking them to buy, go to them and say, hey, I've got this really good article that I wanted to share with you that I thought you would like, and get them to read the same article. Same thing in the mail, by the way. You send them a letter. The letter says, hey, there's a really good article that you should read. It's at this link. They have to go online to read it. So basically, in a nutshell, any way that you can get that person to read that article, you do. So, and a lot of people don't do snail mail because they think, oh, who does snail mail anymore? And it's too expensive. Going back to what I said before, if it's expensive, that means very few people are willing to do it. And because very few people are willing to do it, it stands out as valuable in the consumer's eyes. We send letters out to people, and they're not getting letters in the mail anymore because everybody went online. Well, that one letter they've gotten in the last week with an actual handwritten address on it and a stamp, that stands out. They read that shit. Yes, it costs $1 to send it and an email is free, but one letter is equal to 100 emails because of how much it stands out for the user. So we eat our own dog food here, and you should definitely at least try the direct mail out. Send out 500 letters addressed to the people that you want to sell to, and see what the lead cost on that is before you give up on it at the very least. But with that, I'll wrap it all up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, you should subscribe. I have a ton of other content on this channel about other advertising strategies that will make you millions of dollars with your ads. Given the stuff that I share with you is all stuff that I find that works working with our clients. And I work with about 30 or so clients at any given time. And I've been doing this the last 15 years. I'm not a YouTuber who's just talking out my ass here. This is real stuff that works in our own agency where I strategize all of our clients' campaigns directly. So I have real information about what's working out there on Facebook, Google, and so forth that you can't get elsewhere on YouTube from people that manage a couple campaigns or just do YouTube for a living. I also got a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog. If you like the channel, you'll like my blog. It has even better information there, actually. If you have any questions about anything I covered today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days. Ask me any questions you'd like about PPC. I'd be happy to try to help you out, actually. As a last couple notes here, I have a couple things that you know, if you want to work with the best PPC guy you can find, reach out to me. I'll look at what you're doing, and if I can work with you, I'll promise you so much more sales results on top of what you have right now before charging anything at all. Or I'll take a percentage of your sales increase into the future, because we've been doing that more and more with different clients. You got to have something that's worth selling, that works to take you on as a client. But if you think you got something that's good, that sells, and all you need is the little marketing magic sprinkled on top, I'd like to hear from you. We also, by the way, have campaigns that are all turnkey. If you want to just make money online and you aren't making money now, instead of building up an ad account for yourself that will make millions, use one of our ad accounts that work for certain industries. We've got dozens of industries where the ad accounts are turnkey. You take the ad account, you import it into your Google account, you take the landing pages that we have that work for that market, you turn it on, you get predictable results. And then you can outsource the work to somebody else or sell the leads, which we've had many people do. So if you're interested in that and want to know what kind of results you can get, what markets we have campaigns in, reach out to me. I'd be happy to let you know what we have. But I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.